Do you remember we had Kwasi Kwarteng's situation? He wanted to take the 45p top rate of tax, turn it into 40. He did a complete U-turn on that. Well, now apparently we're going to go U-turn in the opposite direction, perhaps now raising that 45p rate to 50p.
Well, the problem, of course, for the Conservatives, a lot of voters right now are going to be very confused as to what they stand for, because you've just had a Conservative leader elected by Conservative members, let's not forget, who put forward a tax-cutting budget. Actually, some of the stuff in there was quite popular. There was some stuff in there that was obviously less popular. But you've gone a complete 180 here, you know, the complete U-turn in terms of Rishi Sunak and I were talking about jacking up taxes. And the problem you've got for the Conservatives is generally people that want high taxes, a huge state, are going to vote Labour anyway, aren't they? So you're never gonna win that those voters over, I wouldn't have thought, if you start getting into a bidding war with the socialists. I don't think that's going to go very well for the Conservatives. In terms of the £60 billion black hole, surely the obvious solution to this, part of a solution, is to scrap HS2. It's going to cost tens of billions of pounds. We simply can't afford it at the moment. I don't know why that's not being highlighted further. But as I said, and I actually think, by the way, that Rishi Sunak should call a general election. I thought Truss should as well, and I actually thought Boris should, because I think the only way, whoever the Conservative leader is properly going to gain authority with voters on what their vision of what a Conservative government should be doing and is going to do will be by calling an election, putting it in a manifesto and trying to win. The Conservative Party at the moment, and why it is largely or somewhat ungovernable by, again, whoever the leader is because it seems to me to be a party that's so factionalised now. It's in 2, maybe 3 or 4 groups. And when, obviously, Rishi Sunak's got a bit of a honeymoon period at the moment, I suspect if he delivers this statement with Jeremy Hunt and, you know, they are jacking up taxes, all hell's going to break loose within the Conservative Party again from those who I would deem to be proper Conservatives who are going to say, wait a second, if you're jacking up taxes, what is the argument against the Labour Party? The Labour Party are going to essentially say the Conservatives are going along with our economic consensus that raising taxes is the right thing to do. And I think that actually fatally undermines what the Conservative Party should be doing, which is making Britain competitive internationally. Don't forget, when it comes to business, when it comes to very rich people, if you tax them too much, they'll go elsewhere.
Will they really go elsewhere? Will they really go elsewhere? Because, may I just quickly ask Michael a question, just to come back on that? If we leave HS2 out, and you can have different views on HS2, if you're forced to choose between people earning 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, and people earning 150 grand, in some cases £1 million, £2 million, £3 million, to help us out of this, it's not enough, by the way, just to jack it up to 50%. That in itself is not going to work. Who do you choose? Do you side with the people on 20, 30 grand, or the people on 150 grand, 300 grand, 400 grand?
Of course, there is another way to look at this. Rather than just raising taxes all the time, we could actually cut government spending. I know that that's not something that's talked about much anymore. It's not just a matter of raising taxes. Maybe the government should spend less money.
Well, so our hospitals go down
foreign aid budget. Foreign aid budget's about 10 billion a year. Schools? Foreign aid budget's about 10 billion a year. Do you think that's right? The point I was making earlier, if you essentially scrapped HS2 and scrapped much of the foreign aid budget, you wouldn't have to have the tax rises. So it's a political choice that's being made. Instead of cutting spending, the Conservative government seem to be intent on raising taxes. It is a choice. There are reasonable cuts to government spending that can be made. Now, Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt can choose not to do that. They can choose to go ahead with HS2, not to cut the foreign aid budget and raise taxes on people. But that is a political choice. They don't have to do that.